the good, the bad, and the nerdy. Hosted by Honey Badger herself, Katie May, and the most enthusiastic person in comics, Mike Watson.
And here we are back again. We are live on the good, the bad, and the nerdy. After a week off, Katie and Mike are back. How are you all doing? How you doing, Katie?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Right now I'm just trying to check our feed, make sure it's looking good. Oh yeah, it's up and it's live. There we are. Okay, so we're gonna dive right into this week's episode. Katie, we have our first for our quick round, which we ultimately disagree on, and it's okay. It's okay.
The show would be boring if we agreed on everything all the time. That would be a really boring show to listen to, I think.
It would be. So Katie put this post up about the most romantic thing in this decade to ever happen, and she does not like it. The Hulk and Black Widow relationship. So why don't you like this, Katie?
Are we speed rounding this?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we need a timer.
Yeah. I'm like, you jumping the gun, boy. But yeah. So we're gonna be talking about I posted an article, one of the people involved with the show kind of explained, or they didn't. I can't remember now. But there was an article about the relationship with Hulk and Black Widow, how it started to develop, and then all of a sudden it just like disappeared. So do you want me to start, or do you want to start?
Oh, you start. Let the negative person go first.
All right. I am starting the 3 minutes right now. Okay, so the Black Widow and Hulk love interest thing never made sense to me. I thought it was dumb, and I hate the fact that there is one Avenger on this team, and then of course that's a female, and then like of course she has to be romantically involved with them, with someone. It didn't make sense. It felt forced, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I feel like she was a strong woman, and she didn't need to be hooked up with anybody. And if she was going to be hooking up with anybody, it wouldn't have been anybody on the Avengers.
Wow, Katie, those are pretty strong words. I feel like there's a lot of feeling and emotion behind all of that. Jeez. The good. I thought it was awesome to see these two together because I never would have thought myself to put them together. And the way that Scarlet and I'm terrible with names and Hulk, whatever, Black Widow and Hulk interact with each other, I loved it because she's such a confident person and he's such a dork and goofy about it that I thought that it worked for them. I thought the them put them together because like that whole line she has, like the guy that can walk away from the fight because he can win the fight, and going with her as she's like this stealth assassin that kills like everybody. I thought because they were from such different worlds, they meshed really well with both their trauma and their pain. And plus, I like both the actors in these roles or anything. And the bad is that they did give up on it. They just stopped it. I wanted to. I get why it got cut from the movie, but man, I would have loved to see like the conversation where they either decided not to do anything or whatnot. I am hoping because Avengers is coming with an ending, a deleted scene. I'm hoping we get to see the Hulk in the Soul Stone with Black Widow when he snaps his finger. That's the scene I'm hoping for. Close second would be Cap and Red Skull, but I want to see that. That's where I want to see.
Oh, you're so sweet and romantical. I just didn't. I love those characters as standalone characters, and I love some of the other pairings. Like I love Black Widow with Hawkeye. I love Hulk with Thor, like in Ragnarok. Like I love those other pairings. I think they really jive well with other characters in the Avengers. I just don't see them together, and I like I said, like I don't like that it seems like whenever there's a female, she has to have some sort of romantic love interest. And I hate that. I hate it so much. Part of why I loved Captain Marvel so much is that they didn't do that.
Okay. That's fine. I'll give you that because that is one of the main reasons why I love Captain Marvel as well. It was just her and being a woman and doing her thing. There was no love interest or anything like that. Is that
All
our
right.
time?
That is our time. So good job.
Um,
We did it. That was kind of fun doing something that was different than normal.
yeah, yeah. Well, Katie May, it's our show. We can switch it
We
up
can
and
do
do
what
whatever
we want.
we want here. All right, just checking to make sure we don't have any comments. Yeah, just put up one of these trendy banners. Ask us questions live. You
I
know, we're
see that. Looking pretty fly.
so we're still testing out StreamYard so far, digging the features of it and the fact that it makes the recording easy for us because we can just take that we do it live on our secret group. Well, not secret group, our public group. Then we take the audio from this and post it on our podcast page, and then we download the video and put a couple tweaks on it and put it on our YouTube page. So 3 cracks at it with one video. I'm really digging how simple that is. And I know Katie's she's still adjusting to it, but she even admitted it's cut down on some of the editing with her and I because now we can actually see each other and we know how to chime off each other better. And I think we had a really good sounding episode our last episode.
I agree. I just, I'd feel better if this was just the two of us.
But you're doing so well, Katie.
Oh,
You're doing so well.
thanks.
All right, so we have gone on a couple trips. The reason we took the week off is because we were out of town at Geekdom events. Katie was at Pokemon Go. Katie, you want to tell us about this? What happened?
Yeah, so I
Pokemon
was
Go Fest?
at Pokemon Go Fest. It was in Chicago. I went with a bunch of my nerd friends for the weekend, and it was a lot of fun. We were there on Saturday, and we actually had to get evacuated from the event for like 2.5 hours because of weather related issues. So that part really sucked. It was rainy. Like, yeah, if you're looking at these pictures, like it was insane. There was a lot of us there, a lot of nerds. But anyway, so Saturday, yeah, the weather was really crappy, but I still had a good time. It's just like raining, and by the end of the day, everyone was kind of grumpy. But I had a great time,
Katie,
and yeah.
Katie, what is this like? This is a massive amount of people outside playing a mobile cell phone game.
It's pretty crazy, and I love it because I consider myself an introvert, but I'm a little more. I can extrovert if I need to. But this game, oh look, there's me. Um, this game actually makes nerds like get out of their comfort zone and get out of their houses and go outside and make friends. And I actually have found a really great community nearby where I've met a bunch of my neighbors that I wouldn't have otherwise known. These people that live in my neighborhood, but I wouldn't have ever met them. And now I've made some really great friends. We hang out, on weekends during the week, like doing just normal people stuff too. Like we've really built some solid friendships. But anyway, this event was super fun. The weather was shitty, but overall it was a great experience and a great time.
Awesome. It just looks like pure, just glorified geeky fun. Just like everyone in the neighborhood came outside at the same time because
Yeah.
the water slide was out there and someone built a
Yeah.
fire hydrant. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. It was really cool the way they set it up. They do it in a park, and um they have like different zones, and they had like some props set up, and you'd go to different zones, and in each area different types of Pokemon would spawn. And it was really cool. It was a great event. I went last year, and I like the way the setup was better this year from last year. Last year the park was like long and skinny, so to get from one place to another place, it was like a long trek. But this one was like more square. Different zones, and they had like
Sorry, had to get in there. So Rebecca Williams is watching. She said, "Woo." She said, "Wooha, Pokemon. Casey is my hero."
that is my friend Becca. She's actually my friend before Pokemon, but hey Becca. Thanks for listening. She also does play Pokemon with me. She was unable to come to the event, but maybe next year.
All right. Awesome. So I went to Wizard World Philadelphia this weekend, and it was quite spectacular. Honestly, it was the the best Wizard World show I have done to date. 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I had my first art class. I had like 7 panels, including a creative stage appearance as well. Plus working the table. Short Fuse Media was out there at another table themselves. I think we sold a total between both tables. We sold 260 books total this weekend. Catherine and Daniel Calivan was out there. Daniel's kind of a rookie to the convention circuit. He's trying to learn, and Catherine is a very experienced pro at the show. This is one of my favorite pictures here. This guy came in, and I had about 6 of my turtles on display. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'll take that whole turtle line." And so I gave him the 6 that were showing, and he was like, "No, the whole line." I was like, "Oh, okay." So he snatched up like every turtle picture that I had and a couple extra ones, and that was the only way I could take a picture of them. This is one of my friends I met down there who we hung out a lot. This is Libra, and that's me in the background getting interviewed by a very cool guy, like that was made for interviews and things like this. This dude was like as soon as I got in there and sat down with him, I was like, I knew I was being interviewed. It was like ridiculously, he had the interview voice and everything, like flat out. Like he knew how to ask the questions and everything with it. It was just kind of super crazy how good he was at it.
Awesome.
I was getting interviewed like that, and I was pretty much sitting here like, man, I'm pretty damn impressed at what's going on here right now. But I thought this pic was great as she took this to point me out during this interview segment, which was pretty awesome. I think my computer's running a little bit slow here. All right. Then this commission I had so much fun doing here. It was for a young lady who was getting her dad a Father's Day present. They came to my panel, enjoyed it, and then she waited till her dad was gone and slipped me the book and said, "Hey, I want you to do this commission for my dad for Father's Day." He's a big Thanos fan.
That's awesome. I really like the hand and the wavies. It looks awesome.
Had a lot of fun with that one. There was this epic G.I. Joe cosplay group there, man. They were awesome. They had fake alligators and all types of cool stuff at their booth, and they were just walking around looking like a couple badasses. This is Catherine and Daniel sitting at the Short Fuse table, moving a lot of that Short Fuse product for us. This is my taco. We went to a taco restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, and I ordered 3 tacos, which were like $15, and that's how big they were, and I got 3 of them. It was delicious, but it was tiny as hell.
That's a fancy taco.
Fancy my ass. I'd rather have a regular old messy burrito from Chipotle. Marissa is watching us right now. She said she likes our fancy headsets. This is the daughter and the father together once they got their commission.
Oh, he's so happy.
They're pretty cool. He wasn't expecting to get it. This is one of the students from my art class. We made trading cards, anime trading cards there. She did 4 of them. She was super excited. I think, I had about 5 students in there that day, which was pretty cool because they all made the cards. I gave them free cards to go with it. Some of their parents were there with them. They had a good time. And then I
was super excited about that girl because she's dressed like Misty from Pokemon. She should have been with me.
Hey, she was all about it. But then,
then you saw Jarf.
Yeah, one of our friends from Cosmic Geppetto popped up right there to see me. Got his new issue of Hot Shot as well, and we stole a pic real quick as I'm rocking my new Heroes International shirt.
Nice.
Let's see here. Oh, this is all of us at dinner. We were 11 deep.
You don't look like you're having any fun.
Oh man, having a good time at all. It was pretty mundane, and no, it was pretty fun. These people were hilarious. It was good times. It's
That's
another
awesome.
one more piece I did here of original character from American Dreams from Short Fuse.
Very awesome.
Yeah, man, I had a great time, man. Like I said, Philly was bomb. Philly was bomb. We had fun. This guy came with his wife, and he had bought Hot Shot #1 last year when I was at Philly. Came back, and his wife just kept saying, like, he's been talking about your book all year. He's been talking about your book all
That's
year.
awesome. What a great thing to hear.
And he bought every single issue of Hot Shot and got caught up. And like I had to hook him up with a couple free prints and stuff because to have somebody be that to feel that way about your book and stay that dedicated to it, and it was like came back to next year and threw out some support. I had to throw down something nice for him. All right.
Awesome.
So okay, so now we're moving on into our main bit where we kind of split up a little bit on this. We're going to be looking at Men in Black 1, 2, and 3 with our normal. We found the good, we found the bad, and we go through the nerdy here. But Katie saw the new Men in Black film, and I saw Godzilla. So we're going to be splitting the difference there on that point. So. And if you have not been able to tell, I'm having such a fun time with this. All right, so we got Men in Black 1. Katie, you want to go first?
Yeah, so this is the one that obviously kicked it all off and was kind of at the time like something we'd never really seen before. This movie was like about aliens, but it was still funny, and Will Smith was super hot back then, and it was a great film. There was just like a lot of good, although I will admit, going back and watching it now, I'm like, oh man, like the graphics are just not that good. It just like that part doesn't hold up because like CGI has just gotten like so crazy good in the past like 2 decades. But it was still a fun film, despite that. But it was just funny like watching and being like, oh, these aliens look weird, like.
Yeah.
But I think for me, probably my favorite part of Men in Black was the scene where Will Smith is like being tested with all this other like really like high achievers who are all have like military backgrounds or like the first in their class are super serious, and they go in this like training exercise and they have to like shoot all these monsters, and he ends up shooting this like little girl, and they're like, why would you shoot a little girl? And he goes through his whole reasoning, and you're just like, wow. And that like 5 seconds that he had to like think about this, like he paused, thought it through, and like made a good choice, which didn't seem like a good choice because he shot a little girl, but in the end it made sense. So I really love that scene.
That is a really good scene. That's great. Rebecca Williams says tacos, no cheesesteak. I've had cheesesteak before at Philly, and I'm sorry I wasn't that impressed. And apparently, I hear it
That's
depends on the
another
person.
thing we don't agree on.
Maybe I went to the wrong place. I don't
You
know.
need to go to Pat's and Gino's. They're right across the street from each other. You can get one sub at each place.
Okay, I will
And
duly note
compare.
duly noted for next year. Angela Daniel says, I feel like Will looks exactly the same, but I've never thought he was super hot. Will Smith does look exactly the same, except for his hair color.
So what I meant by hot was like he was like a hot actor, not that he was physically hot, that he was like his career was on fire.
All right, given. My favorite scene from Men in Black is him talking trash to the cockroach. That was classic vintage Will Smith, and him just trying to man up on this cockroach and talk trash to get it to stay. Pure hilarity. Absolute favorite part of the movie.
All right, so for my bad, Will Smith's outfit choices prior to becoming a Man in Black, like they weren't even on point for that time period. They were just like terrible. Just his wardrobe was terrible, and I hated it. His clothes were terrible.
Hmm. Okay. I didn't really notice too much with the clothes myself, but I can see that. I can if I look back on it, I can see that.
At
Um,
one point, he's wearing this like orange outfit, which normally orange is my favorite color. I would be totally into it. But he looked like he was wearing like a prison uniform, which made no sense because he was a cop.
okay. Okay. She didn't dig the clothes.
No, it was terrible.
Um, the my bad was some of the alien designs were just too out there. Like the movie, I know it was a comedy, I knew it was sci-fi and science and stuff, but then some of the designs were just like, all right, that's just ridiculous. Like that doesn't. It looks like you just threw that in there just to be extra goofy, and I just didn't like some of them. But that was my bad. So.
All right. Yeah, like I said, the graphics and the prosthetics and all that kind of stuff was, and I didn't know if it just didn't hold up because it was dated or they just did a really crappy job on that stuff.
Mhm. All right. So we go over to Men in Black 2.
Yes.
And this is the one. This is the one with Rosario Dawson.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So
She's
my
Laura in this film.
my favorite part of Men in Black Rosario Dawson. Her addition to it was great. I love that we are her and we get to see the movie through her. So her reactions to everything is spot on, and the actual twist with her being an alien herself, being the new queen, I did not see that coming. So it kind of like took me out there. I knew there was going to have to be some way where they kept her away from another movie because obviously they were pointing direction for her and Will hitting it off in the film. So I knew they were going to have that because he's a man in black. But I really enjoyed her character. Not to say that I didn't enjoy Tommy and Will; they're always good together. But I mean, since the first one and whatnot. But I severely enjoyed Rosario Dawson. She was great. She was spot on, and Rosario for the most part in these films, she always does kind of play like uh, an everyday woman being put into these different situations and circumstances.
Okay. Yeah, so for me, the post office scene where Agent J goes to get Agent K, who doesn't know he's part of the Men in Black anymore.
Mhm.
He's working in the post office, and Will goes back there and he starts beatboxing, but it's like some sort of like alien language, and then this other alien responds back to him, and then all of a sudden, like after they have their conversation, everyone just kind of like starts taking off their disguises, and you're just like, oh, they're all aliens, and he's like,
Mhm.
yeah, how do you think you felt comfortable here? And I really love that scene.
That is a good one. That is a good one. Um, so for my bad, I actually did not like too much that they brought Tommy Lee Jones back. I loved that Will Smith erased his memory, and he got to go live a life and move on and stuff like that. And I don't like to throw this around too often, but at that time, at that moment, I thought it was just a cash grab to bring him back. I didn't really think that the story was significant enough. I mean, obviously they found the reasons and whys they wanted to bring him back, but when they said they were bringing him back, I just was like, oh, that sucks because it ended so powerfully with him being able to move on. So
Yeah.
that was my bad for it.
Yeah, I agree with you that after the first movie, they kind of were like, okay, now he's going to live a regular life with the love of his life and, he's going to get back on track. But you kind of find out throughout this film that, like, it didn't necessarily turn out as great as you thought. Like, I think his wife left him and
Mm-hmm.
he's just working at the post office, which actually, I don't know. He seemed like he was having a good time there.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it was a weird choice to bring him back, especially when they gave him such a good ending in the first one. But for me, I think the the bad scene for me was when Agent J leaves Laura with those the annelids, those little worm creatures, like in their home, and they're kind of like inappropriate and might try to do something to her, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
really, dude, like this is the best you had, like this is the the best group of or not people, but like creatures to like take care of her, to look out for her when she like actually is not necessarily that safe. Like I know it was probably supposed to be funny, but to me it was like, okay, she's not safe there. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna try to do something.
It was super creeps. It was super creeps, and obviously I think it was supposed to be, but yeah, I get it. I get it. So next up on tap, Men in Black 3. You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with the good. The character Griffin, he's an alien who has this like crazy ability where he can like not necessarily see the future, but he can see like all of the possible futures. So
Mhm.
he's just like going through and like telling people like, oh, this might be the one where this happens, or it might be the one where this
Mhm.
happens. If this happens, then this is going to happen. And it just like it sounds the way that I'm describing it doesn't sound great, but like I really love that character. I thought he was funny. I thought it was a great addition. I thought his ability was very interesting. So yeah, that was my good for the movie.
My good for it. Um, Josh Brolin, the dude was incredible. His portrayal of a young K was ridiculously spot on. I don't know how he did that, but I saw K in him. Like it was a young Tommy Lee Jones, and it was freaking flawless. And it was even funnier having Josh Brolin do the things that K would do to Jay, even more so. So that was my favorite part of the film. His characterization, his portrayal of a young K. I thought it was freaking perfect.
That was really awesome, and that's like almost as if like in Captain Marvel where Fury actually where he actually plays himself, it was like almost like that good that it could have just been Tommy Lee Jones playing himself like with CGI. But like, yeah, you're right. Josh Brolin totally nailed it.
Mhm. All right, so now you're bad.
Yeah. So my bad. If anyone has listened to me on Cosmic Geppetto, I really hate time travel. I really hate it. I hate it. And more importantly, I hate when like stuff repeats. There wasn't a lot of that, so at least it wasn't that bad. But for me, it was the time travel.
Given time travel is a hard thing to pull off, it's the great fix of everything. So
Hmm.
I can see how that bothers some people. For me, the bad was that they made this movie. I don't I don't think they needed a Men in Black 3. When I really watched the movie, I was just like, honestly, the best part was Josh Brolin. He was the best part of the movie, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. We got this, so I get to see Josh Brolin, but he's actually just portraying a younger Tommy Lee Jones. But I just didn't see that the movie was that great that it needed to be a trilogy. So that's my bad.
All right. Do we want to go into our good, bad, and nerdy now and then talk about the other two movies?
Yeah. We can go into our good
Go
bad.
ahead and wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go? I think I went first last week, so
Okay.
you go first this time.
All right. So I think this is going to be the bad is Men in Black 3. God,
Okay.
get out of here. Gone. The good is Men in Black 1, and the nerdy is Men in Black 2.
Okay. So for me, the good is Men in Black 1. Agree on that. I would say the bad is Men in Black 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do nerdy for Men in Black 3, just because the time travel is like kind of a very nerdy thing,
Oh,
I think.
all right. Okay. So now that brings us up here to I'm gonna hit this up first. Godzilla. So I have been waiting for this movie for over a year. We got Godzilla and it was fantastic. I was like, the only complaint I had was I needed more Godzilla. I think that's what everybody said. We needed about 10, 15 minutes of Godzilla more. That's it. And the movie was good. Now, I know people are a little peeved that Bryan Cranston got killed in the movie. We were misled to believe he was going to be the main character of the film. That bothered me too, because I was just coming off my Breaking Bad high, which is the greatest television show of all time. So, yeah, that did annoy me, but then Godzilla was just so amazing. I mean, his size, the CGI, he was just a freaking monster, man. Like, yeah. Like, so I was like, so when this new one came out, I was like, all right, I can't wait. And it had all the monsters in it. I was like, they listened. They listened. They said, you want more Godzilla? We will give you more Godzilla. So the good. They gave me more Godzilla. Oh my god. Everything that had a monster on scene was fantastic. These things are so massive. I honestly don't even know how the world is still standing after this film. I don't know what King Kong is going to do, because apparently that movie's already done filming and now they're just doing CGI. Godzilla owned it. It was fire breath and charging and teeth and gnawing and snapping and it was on. All right, it was fantastic. All right, boom. So my bad. They gave me more Godzilla, but they gave me more damn humans. I don't care about humans in a Godzilla movie. All I need is the bare minimum from humanity in this film. Instead, they gave me everything. I got backstory. I got loose ends. I got these connections, these weak connections, these strong connections. Why is Godzilla letting little humans touch him? Godzilla does not give a damn about humanity. You just happen to be in his petri dish, and he wants to protect his petri dish, his little island where he lives at. You just happen to live in the same zone that he's sleeping, and he wants to protect that. He does not care about us. He's not going to let somebody put their hand on his nose. Matter of fact, we should never be able to get so close to Godzilla we can put a damn hand on Godzilla's nose. It don't make no sense. Godzilla don't care. That's my bad. Jeez.
That was amazing.
It was so aggravating, because every time a human came on scene, it was just this long, drawn out, emotional betrayal and emotions and what about the damn monsters out there stomping on the world? That's what I want to see. Put that back on screen. I don't care about this family. I don't care about this organization. Dang it.
So would you prefer it if it was just like the monsters, like no humans, like no backstory, just like the monsters basically like fighting the whole time? Would you watch 2 hours of that?
Yes, I would. It's called Godzilla. Called Godzilla. The only humans I want to see are the ones trying to survive. I don't need no deep ass backstory to it or whatnot. I mean, maybe have a scientist there that found the scroll that says that they do this and they do that. But what are we really going to do against Godzilla at the end of the day? And in every iteration that I've seen, Godzilla cannot be killed. So let them fight. That's all I care about.
All right. Well, while you were seeing Godzilla,
You were seeing.
I was seeing Men in Black International. um, I know it didn't do very well, but I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. Was it a great film? No. Was it entertaining? Yes. Was it good? Sure. It wasn't it wasn't great, but it was an entertaining film. I actually at one point I like glanced at my watch and I was like, "Oh, it's already been nearly 2 hours." Like it just time went by really fast. So I think it was a good film. I don't understand why everybody hates it so much. I thought it was fine. People are just mean. Um, Plus, my boy Chris is in it, and who doesn't love Thor? I mean, I know he isn't playing Thor, but he's still in it, and he's still hot. So there you go. But that's not my good. My good was actually Tessa Thompson, Agent M, also known as Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm.
She was amazing. She did such a great job. It was she was funny, she was serious. I really loved her character. Um, I loved the character development. I loved her. She did a great job. She really carried the film. She was amazing.
I kind of got that feeling from it. I thought she would kind of steal the show. She's on the rise, like for real. So what?
And there, um, and then kind of like I want to give an honorable mention because I saw in the trailers that there was like this little alien dude that was traveling with them, and I was like, ugh, this is gonna be annoying. Like it's gonna be this annoying ass alien who's just like there for comic relief and saying dumb stuff, and um, it was actually really funny and cute, and I really enjoyed it, which surprised me because, like I said, I thought it was going to be terrible. But Kumail Nanjiani, he was in The Big Sick. He's a comedian. He did a great job. He did a really great job. So I was pleasantly surprised with that because I was expecting to hate it and actually enjoyed that part. So that's my honorable mention. But
I was thinking the same thing, that he was going to suck and that was going to be annoying part for just pointless comic relief. So that's good to hear that it wasn't.
yeah, no, I was actually like, all right, it actually added something to it, and it was pretty funny. Um, the bad. So I don't want to give too much away, especially since you haven't seen this, but they keep throughout the film, they keep saying that Agent H, which is Chris Helmsworth, that he's changed, he's different, something's changed in him, and it's never really explained. Like in the end, like they never, like it never comes around. I'm like, well, are they going to explain how he changed? Like what was different? It was just kind of it was kind of a confusing backstory, and I mean, I have some theories on what was meant by that, but nothing. Not that I need stuff to be like completely spelled out to me. I can infer stuff, but it was like I felt like they just kind of left that on the table, and I was like, I don't know what you mean by this.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Some things, a lot of things don't have to be spelled out, but when you keep reiterating on something, you should answer that question.
Yeah, it wasn't like just like a one passing comment. It was said repeatedly. So it was kind of like at the end, you're like, what was that all about?
Okay. All right. So we've done our good and bad for both of the films that we watched here. We've talked about Men in Black today. We've talked about our adventures in the previous week, and we've chatted about our disagreement with Hulk and Black Widow.
So it was a pretty full day.
That was. So Katie, where can people find you at?
You can find me on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/group/GBN8. You can find me on Twitter at honeybadgerkt.
Okay. You can find me as excuse me, that's Freestyle Comics on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and also Art of Mike Watson on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, along with Short Fuse Media Group LLC on Twitter and Facebook. I have some events. I don't know what they are right now. I know I'm going to be at BlurredCon. I know I'm going to be at Ohio Toy and Comic Con. I know I got a couple things lined up. I'll have them next week. I don't have anything this weekend. Just my kid's birthday party that I'm going to be going upstairs helping my wife clean up with for Nerf gun for my daughter Logan and my son Miles. So that's the big event. So if you guys want to come play Nerf battle with us,
that sounds amazing. What time should we be over?
It starts at 4:30.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Nerdy with Katie May and myself here. We will be posting our podcast episode version of this up in a couple days. This will be up on YouTube tomorrow night. And of course, you can catch the live stream here in our group. Please share, like, and talk about us with your friends and families. I'm glad that we are back after our week off, and we will see you guys all next week.
Bye.
Bye. I love it. That's our official sign off.